I'm so glad that you're all here. We're going to have a great day here today. My name is Terry Otto Dubois, and I'm not really sure why Zachary asked me to MC today, but I would do anything for them. So, Betty and I moved to Griffin about 5 years ago and have been busy getting to know folks here because we want to make this a better community. And one of the folks that we have met here that is making this a better community is Reginald. And so I'd like to have him come on up and be our first speaker.
Yes, ma'am.
Woo!
All right, thank you. Good evening, Democrats.
Woo!
All right. Good evening, young Democrats of Georgia.
Woo!
Yes. First, let me thank all of you for your work, for working so hard to get Democrats elected. But not only get the Democrats elected, but to get Democrats to the polls so that they can vote. So we need to do that, guys. And I want to tell y'all a little bit about me. My name is Reginald Watts. I'm the CEO, president of the Urban Outreach Association in Griffin, Georgia. We started this organization in 2015, and we have worked hard to build this community and make this community better. We was actually able to get the Sunday vote. The very first time in Spalding County, we were able to get a Sunday vote. But no, wait, clap. The very next year, the Republican took it. so we need to bring that back. But according to the 2020 census, the median income in Spalding County was around $57,000. And with everything going up in prices, everything but our paycheck, we got to get more money in Spalding County pockets. So what I'm looking at is I sit on the University of Georgia Archway Board. On that board is the superintendent, Dr. Simmons, the president of the Southern Crescent, and I already been talking with them because there's so many programs at the college that people could take advantage of that they're not doing it. We got a welding program that Dr. Clark was telling me about, that if you don't even have a diploma, you could come into the school, they would get you the diploma, they would put you in the welding program, they would actually even buy you your tools and get you ready for work, and get you to work. And so all the people got to do is take advantage of those opportunities. So I feel like if we can raise money, get more money in the pockets of Spalding County people, then they'll be able to buy homes. And you got to think about this, we're upside down in the city of Griffin. We got more renters than we do homeowners. Everybody know that there's a positive correlation when you got a lot of renters with crime. So if we can fix the housing problem, guess what? We start fixing the crime problem. So if we can do these things and we make everybody feel like they are invested in this community, not just one or two people. Because that's why people who rent it, they don't feel that they invested. They don't feel like they got nothing to invest in. So we need people to feel like they belong, that they got a stake in this community. And I think we're going to do good. Democrats are going to do good because we are the party with common sense. Not only the party with common sense, but the party with common sense that makes sense. So for almost 9 years, I've been fighting to better this community and giving everybody in this community a chance. I was born on the back road. It was right behind Spalding Heights. We was very poor, very poor. And my mom, she had a lot of pride. My mom had a lot of pride. And she had to go and get on public assistance. But when she put into us, is that she was like, you guys, I want y'all to do better. I want you to do better. I'm using this because this is what I need right now. But my mom got a job at Little People Daycare. And I'll never forget, she was so happy to tell them people, I don't need no more assistance. I can handle it on my own. And since then, let me tell you, it's 4 of us, and I'm the youngest. But since then, if you take the taxes that I pay, that my brother pay, that my 2 sisters pay, the money that they gave my mom to help her and to assist her, we have paid that back 100-fold because none of us ever had to be on public assistance. And between me and my wife, how they kill us with taxes, I know they all got their money back. So I want to thank all of y'all. Let's stay fired up. Let's get out here and let's elect Democrats. Thank you guys. Thank you, young Democrat. Love what you're doing.
Thank you, Reggie. Well, it's so good to hear from you. And he's got a message that we need to all follow. We all know that, right? All right, so my next piece of business here is to talk about Zachary. Betty and I met Zachary about a year ago, and we have been really impressed with them. They really care about this community and making it the best that it can be. Zachary is the president of the Young Democrats of Spalding County, and as such, they have led activities to further the education and activism in this county. They are also a member and officer of the Fayette Spalding Cooperative, which you'll hear more about later. Still, I mention it because Zachary is very active, taking part in donation drives and the food pantry support, among his many other activities. As a union member and a member of the working class, he knows what needs to get done. However, I find their vision for a future in Spalding County much more important. But I think I'll turn it over to them so that they can tell us about that vision. So without further ado, the next County Commissioner for District 4, Zachary Fuller.
Wow. So now I don't even have to introduce myself. I will say again, I'm Zachary Fuller. I'm running for County Commissioner District 4. I am a union worker. Shout out to local UFCW Local 1996. Their workers provided our food today. I love my job, and I love that the union provides us benefits. And that's something that everybody deserves, and a big reason I'm running. But before I really get into why I'm running, I do want to take a second for us to give a silent prayer and reflection for all the families around Rockdale County and the counties surrounding it. All right. It really is a failure of our development and infrastructure, I feel like, to let something like a biolab hazard and explosion and fire like that go on that affects so many people. And development is a big reason why I'm running, because when I talk to voters, that's what they tell me. Even if they're even if they tell me they're a Republican voting for Trump, or they're voting for Kamala Harris, or Libertarian, or however, everybody is complaining about the development standards. I was in a neighborhood in District 4, and they had just paved a couple new roads there. And I say a couple because they didn't pave the whole neighborhood, just a couple of the main roads. And they had left the driveway with a bump, about a half-a-foot bump across all the driveways. And a lot of these homeowners that I talked to, they contacted the county. They did their part and reached out, and they were told that nothing could be done because the development is over. In that same neighborhood, they were telling me, the ones that lived on the slope side of the neighborhood, that they have flooding when it rains in their backyard. And the county won't do anything, even when they've had somebody to come out. Nothing about it, even though they did not decide as homeowners that that was going to happen. It was a development. It was all a choice without follow-up. And that's what I hear. And I want to be able to represent the people. That's why I go out and talk to people no matter who they are or what background they come from. And I want to lower your property taxes. That's right, because it really does affect regular everyday people. I've heard people at county commissioner meetings saying, I'm a senior, I'm retired, I'm going to have to get a job. I'm going to have to come out of retirement and get a job, or I'm going to lose my house. And sometimes they've even paid for their house. It's when you live on a fixed income and inflation is as bad as it is, and then your own local government raises your taxes, it's putting you in a really bad position. But despite the Republican Party saying that they want to lower taxes, our own Republican commissioners have voted continuously to raise them. And so I'm running on something I feel like we could all agree with, and that's lowering the taxes, or at least use the money we get to benefit our community. The only other thing I'll say is I have heard from some people who do want to vote for Trump or aren't decided if they're going to vote, that they're picking between the lesser of two evils. And in some ways that's true, but it's kind of different this time. Because not only has Trump been talking about the whole want to be a dictator thing and throwing protesters and dissenters in jail, which is crazy and shouldn't be happening in America. But not just that, when he was president, he did things like ban immigration from Muslim countries. He banned transgender people from joining the military, which affected people that I am friends with personally. They got kicked out. They wanted a career in our military to serve our country, and they were kicked out just because of who they were born as, and denied health care. And then even me, I was on my way up trying to rent and move out of my parents' house. When the pandemic hit, I lost my job because I was working at a restaurant and bar, so I'd have to deal with people, and that place shut down. So I had to get on unemployment insurance, which was expanded by Congress, which at the time was run by Democrats, thanks to the voters. But Donald Trump used his power as president to get rid of the extended benefits, and I ended up having to suck it up and move back in with my dad. And that's what a lot of young people have had to deal with. And that's not even talking about trying to buy a home. So many people I graduated with are working full-time, working multiple jobs, and have no idea how they're ever going to pay for a home. And we've got to change that. And that's why I want to work with Reggie and everyone else in this county to try and make sure we have a future. We can fight climate change, create a good environment, a safe environment, improve our schools, improve our infrastructure, and put more money in people's pockets when we come together. So that's why I'm running, and I hope if you live in District 4, win your vote. And if not, you should still vote for Democrats.
All right.
All right. But now to turn a little bit away from electoral politics, I would like to introduce the chairman, the executive chair of the Fayette Spalding Cooperative, which is a local nonprofit that was started last year, to tell you all about it and hopefully to convince you to sign up.
Excuse me, thank you. So a lot of you are actually already members, so thank you for already being a member. The Fayette Spalding Cooperative, what we do is that we do three main things. We try to do non-market member services. We do things like babysitting cooperative, a tool sharing library, and stuff like that because I'm a parent. The cost of childcare is prohibitively expensive. I'm a single parent actually, and I have primary care of my two children. And as you were talking about, my mother actually lives with me. I would not have good childcare if it weren't for her, right? And so we're trying to organize non-market services like that through the Fayette Spalding Cooperative. The other things that we're trying to do are mutual aid. Just yesterday, I'm exhausted actually yesterday, because there's a lot just right over there. It's in a working class neighborhood. This lot has had trash. It's just a dump. It's a neighborhood dump now. And it's just had trash for at least the past 2 years or so. It was brought to our attention whenever we were canvassing for Zachary in this area, because one of the neighbors were saying that's county property and they still haven't cleaned it up. And so our organization, the Fayette Spalding Cooperative, we organized a cleanup session of that, and we actually went through and we collected more than 20 garbage bags, huge garbage bags of trash out there. And then I believe Autumn and Zachary have picked up a lot of that trash as well, right? Just because
We picked up what we could earlier today.
yes. And so these are things that our organization is doing monthly. We have a whole calendar's worth of stuff that we're doing. But another big thing that we're doing is that we're organizing worker cooperatives, which is where this ties into. So we actually have a comprehensive economic plan of worker cooperatism that we can enact for the local government. Worker cooperatives are simple. They operate just as normal businesses, with the caveat that if you are a worker, then you are also an owner of that business. You are entitled to one share of this business in which you get to engage in workplace democracy. We like to say that we like democracy so much, and so why don't we have democracy in the workplace? We actually participate in roundtable discussions, and we actually host roundtable discussions whenever they have employee ownership convenings at Emory University. And there is a growing movement of worker cooperative and worker ownership in general. And so our organization is trying to spear that movement here in this local community, because we understand that with worker cooperatives, then we actually keep wealth here instead of sending it out. Whenever you go to Walmart, just right down the road, majority of that money is sent outside of our community to the wealthiest family in the country, to the Walton families. But with a worker cooperative, the owners of those businesses are our neighbors ourselves. And so whenever you spend money with our neighbors, the money stays within our neighborhoods. And so that's a big reason why the Fayette Spalding Cooperative also has an electoral work group to where we try to find candidates, help them out. We only have one candidate this year that because we're growing, and so it's because Zachary is a member. But with our electoral work group, we actually look for candidates who are interested in expanding the worker cooperative models. Because as elected officials, you can have a lot of benefits associated with this type of business model. And that's why we're actually active within the political scene. We're mostly active on the local scene, That's why we try to fight for candidates that we believe in. We do this by trying to actually motivate new voters to go out and vote. Whenever we go out and canvass, we canvass on roads that never receive any politician. No politician has knocked on their doors in the years and decades that they've been there until we do. If you are interested in the Fayette Spalding Cooperative, there is literature over here. I'll also give you one of my business cards. And some of y'all have been with us, and I do welcome y'all to join us as well. And so I can introduce Mara, is it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and so Mara, we're going to introduce you. I will say that, I'm not sure if you saw, but I did get to do an endorsement of Mara. One thing about Mara is that I asked her a question one time, and then she actually called me, which is a no-no for a millennial. Don't call a millennial. No. But in that moment, I did have a conversation with Mara, and one thing that I really got from her is a sense of a desire to represent her community. And so that's the kind of vibe check that I got out of you. And so, yeah, Marco.
So listening to this today, it just makes your heart feel good because of what people are actually doing. And the thing is, we're talking, this is Democrats.
Yes.
Okay? You tell me an organization where the Republicans actually come out and they say, this is what we're doing for our community. You don't seem to hear that. And the things that you're doing, with me being in Congress, I do the purse strings. And when you hear some of these programs that are working and that you're helping your own people, which gets people out of subsistence, where we don't have to provide government assistance, if we just give you a little to grow your communities, you're gonna be able to make such a difference. You don't need us. We can put our focus someplace else. But I just had to say, it just makes my heart feel good when I get to hear stuff like this. So let me introduce myself. I'm Mara Keller. I'm running for Georgia's 3rd Congressional District. I am running against a mega Trump-endorsed candidate. Right now, he thinks he has this all in the bag. He thinks he's got it won. He does not need to be here because he, number one, does not live here. He doesn't have to be here. He does not canvass. So the people don't know him. Me, I'm out there. I'm trying to talk to people. I'm trying to knock on the doors. And, we don't get any love, us Democrats, when it comes to the media. It's only the Republicans. So we have to go and do grassroots to meet the people. We actually sit down, we listen, we take notes. So with me deciding to run, I'm a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel, 26 years. And one of the things I did do is go back to school and got another degree, this time in nuclear medicine, as a nuclear medicine technologist. So as I worked at various hospitals, my last 3.5 years was at the Atlanta VA. And so being a leader, when you see problems or issues, you find solutions. And you execute, you get them fixed. That was not happening at the Atlanta VA. And our veterans deserve quality care. They deserve so much better. And when I felt I could not make a difference anymore, I could keep on going to work and be frustrated every day. But that's not going to make the difference. So I decided to run for Congress. So veteran reform was a big thing. Well, but as I was deciding to do this, everything that we've been hearing, women's reproductive health was another one. It's like, there is no way that a woman should not be able to make that decision whether or not she will start a family. But we've got the Congress that has said, and the Supreme Court that has said, this is not gonna happen. We're gonna take it back to states' rights. In this district alone, I got 15 counties. 6 of my counties don't have OBGYN care. We have OBGYN doctors that do not want to come here because of the heartbeat bill. They don't want to go to jail. They don't want to lose their license. They don't want to pay a hefty fine. So that's why we have such short resources. Now what happens to our women is they got to go to a different county to get health care. And if by chance, by the time they get to go in, testings are done and it's been determined that we have to end the pregnancy, it's well past the 6 weeks. And now these women have to now leave the state to be able to get the reproductive health care that she deserves. When you were talking about the affordable and attainable housing, That is a huge issue throughout our entire district. We had too many equity firms come in and buy up all homes and in apartments. So when we have our older folks like me that are looking to downsize, we couldn't because there's nothing there that's affordable. Then you have the ones that, I have a 25-year-old, I'd like for him to be able to live on his own, but he can't unless he has 2 to 3 roommates. When I talk to the community, they tell me, we want to see tiny home communities. They're just big enough, either a starter home or, hey, as I downsize, this is good enough for me. But we have builders in our community that says, I don't make enough money. So they should not be the ones to dictate what the people need. They should be the ones to say, well, how do we figure it out? Working with the commissioners. They can figure out how, and if there's incentives that we can do, this is where I come in. How do I help make decisions, open up the purse strings to make sure it's profitable for them, but our people in our counties get what they want. When we talked about better paying jobs, Georgia doesn't care about the $5.15. They're not going to change. Federal, nobody seems to have an appetite to change the $7.25. But we've got over 100,000 people in our district alone that are at or below the poverty level. The way we can help them is to bring better paying jobs in. We have jobs coming in, but they stay in the local, like the cities. They're not coming out into the rural areas. And we know Spalding, we know Upson is another one where you lost a lot of industry. We've got to bring it back. We've got to put life back into the communities. People don't want to travel an hour plus to a job. I'm endorsed by the AFL-CIO. To me, getting union jobs, that is about the only way you're going to get better paying jobs here. And it comes with benefits. And in many cases, it comes with training. Because we got people that don't want to go to college, they don't want to go to trade school, but they want a job that's going to give them an incentive where they can learn a good skill. It's not driving a truck, it's not driving a forklift, because we got a lot of those industrial. But we got things that people can actually make a career with. So we've got to take a look at that. Couple of other, one big thing to me is I'm a part of Moms Demand Action. I'm all about gun safety.
Yes.
I am pro Second Amendment, but I am against gun irresponsibility. I am not here to take away your guns, except maybe ARs. We need to really take a look at things. I mean, just think about it. You can actually go today and buy armor-piercing bullets. So when they talk about what happened to the former president, and that they're like, we got him down, we got him into the armor vehicle, it don't matter. If somebody had armor-piercing, it would make no difference. There's no reason why people need that. So the things that we can do, that again, that has nothing to do with your Second Amendment rights. We can, again, I want to make sure everybody that goes to school comes home safe. The children, the teachers, and the administrators. I want to make sure people, that go into their work, they're going to come home safe. And so that's again one of the things that we've got to really take a look at. We talked about the jobs. And if you go to my website, you're going to be able to see all the other topics and the things that people have come to talk to me. And those that know me, I've got right now I've got 5 3.5-inch binders of topics that people have brought up, and then I've gone and done the research, and I have killed many, many trees to make sure that I would have the info, and then find the smart people. I'm not going to know everything about climate change, which is extremely important. Me coming from a healthcare industry, we're seeing huge amounts of people, asthma, lung disease. We're actually seeing children getting cancer and blood cancer and melanoma because of the ozone. With it being gone, and we have great weather here. Kids are out, they're playing all the time, and they're the ones that are being affected. And so we've got to make sure that we finally got to get these science deniers out of here. But as I go along, I do take notes from people. I do try to find the subject matter experts, and a lot of times they're in their 20s and they're in their 30s, and they are passionate about that. So I have them now. When I have a question, I go and ask them to help me, and that's what they do. Now the other thing, as I do knock on doors, is, we had talked about it earlier, the amount of people that say they don't vote. They feel like their voice is not heard, and their vote doesn't count. One of the things that, again, as I went and looked at the data says, yeah, they don't come out and vote. So why? And those that look at the media, that keeps on telling them, your vote doesn't count because this is too red. A Democrat can't win. We've got to make sure, don't buy into that narrative. You've got to come out, you've got to get the Democrats in, you've got to, but it starts local. And the thing is, we talk about top of the ballot down, but in many cases, when you reach out to the folks of your district, why they have to vote, because that's what affects them the most. Vote up. And that's what we have to make sure that they know. Vote up. And I guess that's pretty much about it. We got, 30 days. 30 days. Put everything we've got into it. You know, one more postcard, one more phone call, one more door knock, whatever it is, and let's all win, because I really feel we have a chance. I just want you to know that in my district, where I think nobody's paying attention, remember when they gerrymandered some of the areas? They took people away from Sanford Bishop. They thought they were going to dilute his area. They gave him to me. They thought Lucy McBath's new area, they were going to just diminish her a little bit. They took those votes and they gave them to me. I got 40,000 leaning Democrat votes that were put into the 3rd district. That, I don't think they realized what they did. And I'm glad. So when I expect on November 6th, it's going to be shock and awe, like what the heck happened. So let's win, Democrats.
Yes.
I can introduce you to do one. I could start and then you can go. I don't know. All right, like I said, Zachary made me MC. I don't know why, but the only thing I can do to end all of this stuff, or to cap it all up, is say, wow, what wonderful people we have running for us here. I'm so proud to actually get to meet Maura today, and I've already known Zachary and Reginald, but I'm just really proud to be here to kind of support them and introduce them to all of you. But we know that they can't do it alone, and we know that we have to do our part. So what is our part? What can we do? We need to do whatever we can. We need to do anything we can. We need to do something. Come on, I want to hear it. We got to do something, right? And we need to, why? Why do we need to do something? Because we know that when we fight, we win. I love that saying. When we fight, we win. And my favorite, we're not going back. We are not going back. Let's hear it. We're not going back. So, when we leave here, we have 30 days to do everything we can to elect the folks that are going to turn the page and move us forward. And so I challenge everybody here to do everything that they can, and I'm going to turn it over to Zachary to lead us out.
All right, I just wanted to do a call to action, because how we win is not just the people here. I'm so glad everybody is here, but tomorrow, October 7th, Monday, is the voter registration deadline in Georgia. I need everyone here to contact, and I'm talking tonight or tomorrow morning. You need to contact at least 5 people that you haven't already, because I'm sure y'all have been talking to people about voting. If you think of somebody, oh, I haven't checked in on them, check in on them. Or if you know somebody you're like, I don't really like hanging out with them, but they're still a part of your community. We need to reach out to everybody. So tomorrow's the deadline. We need to make sure everybody's registered to vote, and even if they voted last time, because with SB 202 that was passed a few years ago, it's so easy for counties to purge voters from their rolls for whatever reason, whether it's a little mistake in the paperwork, or maybe you didn't vote last time or something like that. Any reason, they'll kick people off or purge them, or they may think that you died even though you're still alive. So please make sure everybody registers to vote. You can look up, like Google My Voter page, and it should pop up at the Secretary of State's website where you can register and check if you're registered and get a sample ballot there. So that's my call to action. Are we all going to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, that was kind of enthusiastic. Are we gonna win?
Yeah!
All right, well, let's do it. And please take some food home. We have plenty of food from the great UFCW union-backed Kroger here in Griffin, and then we have some cuties from the wonderful Kizzy's Cakes, a small local business. And I think we're gonna win because we have the endorsement of a great local business like Kizzy's Cakes. Please take some food home and have a good time. We'll be out here for about another hour with music, and you can hang out or go enjoy the park. There's a lake, there's a nature trail. It's a wonderful day, and thank you all for coming out.